say that there are multiple different conversations that comes when it comes to future work trends.
One thing that I always find really interesting is how many people kind of all agree that this is the time for Africa to shine and there is a lot happening out there, but no one has really taken the step to do anything.
So it's very this question where you're applying for the job, they say you don't have any experience, but you need experience to have experience.
With all the measures of caution back to normal in order to keep our society functioning.
Hello all. Thank you for attending this great experiment, and thanks for having me. It is an honor to be a keynote speaker for the first summit where the audience does not have to wear pants.
I want to reframe artificial intelligence, reframe AI as a potential remover of fear and not the cause. I'm sure this is something that we hear a lot in our various businesses and our conversations, that AI is going to be this global catastrophic risk and end us all, especially if you're fans of sci-fi.
So the blockchain and cryptocurrencies represent a whole new different world. It's like a different universe in which we get to write the rules.
So in this particular photo, we did a documentary about what quarantine looks like in Hangzhou, China, when COVID first hit. And we were able to play that experience with a group of our colleagues and peers, watch it and discuss it together inside of VR.
AI and quantum computing and brain-computer interfacing and the future of computing, it's all based on mastery of matter at the nano scale.
For the first time for this country, I see say young people come together, do something. Nobody talk about the kind church where they go, the kind God where they pray to, the tribe where you come from, the language where they speak, the clique where you did, the economic class where you did. I just did for everything just they happen like clockwork.
So you have a lot of young people who are getting into positions where they can influence more things happening for us in the tech ecosystem, and I think that is great.
Yeah. Somebody peut $1,000 par mois. Qui va combien de jeunes qui a école? Ou bien on peut parler. Pour l'autre bagarre encore. On peut goûter maman en Haïti. Pour ouvrir une compagnie SA, faut ouvrir un compte en banque dans BLC avec 100 000 gouttes sous lui. L'on fin ouvrir compagnie ça, ou aller dans BLC, il faut rouvrir l'autre compte encore. Ça crée avec 100 000 gouttes là.
You know that women make up half of the world's working age population, but right now are generating about 37% of GDP.
To me, it's really easy. And if you think about the technologies today that can even examine patients remotely, where you have devices like this, the Med one, for example, which can do a number of physical examinations remotely.
I say to a lot of entrepreneurs that you have to treat every situation as though it is an investor meeting, as though it is something that's significant that can support you with your business.
We are the world's first and largest digital accelerator. We have been running digital accelerators for the past 6 years. So we're so excited again to bring you this program virtually so you can still engage with this content.
All right. So hi, everyone, and welcome back to the AI-Ready Startup Accelerator powered by the Global Startup Ecosystem. I'm Christine and Tim. I'm the CEO of the Global Startup Ecosystem, and I'm so excited to be here for this multi-day program for founders who are ready to build and scale in this digital economy of AI. Now, yesterday we covered a lot, and so hopefully if you did not see what happened yesterday, go back, see in the comments. We'll give you access to the replay link. Essentially, yesterday we kicked off this conversation about really how to build an AI advantage with your business, how to look at time and capacity building for your business in a completely different way, right? Many of us in this industry are talking about AI just from a productivity standpoint, scaling, automation standpoint, but we don't look at how do we lead and make powerful, bold, integrated into decisions within our business when it comes to our strategy, when it comes to AI implementation. Yesterday was all around time. And we had a conversation that your goal should not just to be able to build capacity in your business for this technology, but also leadership. When you have capacity combined with leadership, you have an AI ready business. And so that was day one yesterday. Today, we're going to talk about traction. It's going to be a short one, but this is by far one of the things that I believe no one really thinks about when it comes to their business in this entire new wave of business strategy that's happening right now on the internet. It's like, how do you leverage simplicity to accelerate your traction as a business owner? Because one of the things that we've seen across our portfolio, again, at GSE, we are the world's first and largest digital accelerator platform. We have accelerated thousands of entrepreneurs in our programs, and we have supported and really empowered entrepreneurs over the years across our tech summits, across our multiple initiatives at GSC. And one thing that we see time and time again is that entrepreneurs are always overwhelmed because they're trying too many different growth or sales strategies all at once. There's always another trend on how to accelerate your company through social media, through AI, through this technology, through this software. And at the same time, not only are you leveraging every single tool or technology trend that's happening in real time, many of you are offering too many different products. I say that, you don't want to be a retail shop as a successful entrepreneur. You want to have a clear flagship product, a clear offer. So that way, when people are thinking about your company, thinking about your brand, it's easy for them to describe what you do and what you offer. Right. And so you need a simplified priority mechanism. So in this session, we're going to talk about how to simplify your business model and create a growth strategy that actually works, especially when you think about artificial intelligence and how you leverage that technology to streamline. And one of the first preliminary parts that we talk about with our entrepreneurs in our portfolio, we ask them to leverage ChatGPT to look at, any testimonials that they experience, any feedback of service that they've done, any data that they have regarding their multitude of product offerings at the company, to put it in, and pretty much we give them a series of prompts to pretty much ask and figure out what patterns are we seeing within our client portfolio that's creating the best results. So if we have 10 different products, which product is gaining the most session? Because sometimes we think that our most successful product is the one that's making the most money, but sometimes your most successful product is the one that's getting the most engagement, the most likes, the most love on the internet, most feedback, testimonials, positive reviews. So you need to look at the entire picture. Once you do that, the first layer is like, look at your multitude of products, and the ones that's built pretty much contribute to like 80% of your output of results in terms of sales, revenue, and this other KPIs depending on the business. You're going to scrap everything else. And usually from this process, we have entrepreneurs who have anywhere from 10 different products. And I mean like products like sometimes as small as a workshop product, a consulting offer, a service offering here and there, literally from 10 different offers to we scale it down to like 3. Right. And then from there, we take another layer and look, okay, so what is the actual logistics around managing this process, right? Which is actually the one that, when you execute it, does this take 30 days to manage? Does this take 1 day to manage? The administrative toll does it take to manage each product? What does it take for each product? And then we look at which one is going to be their flagship product. So we narrow down from 10 to 5 to 3. And then finally, we figure out what's the one flagship product that if your business was known for this, not only would you be proud, that you have the right product in market to reflect the values and the success mechanism that you have for your clients. So at the Global Startup Ecosystem, we offer multiple different services, multiple different products, and multiple different, offerings in the market. We're, entrepreneur support organization. So we do multiple things, events, training, initiatives, roundtables, you name it, we've done it. However, when people introduce GSC, they know that we are the world's first and largest digital accelerator platform. That is our flagship program, our annual accelerator program, where we accelerate 1,000 companies to market to help them launch and market and build integrity, build businesses. That is our flagship product. That doesn't mean we don't do anything else, but it means that when people are introducing our key hallmark offering of servitude to the market, that is it. A lot of you don't have that significant offer where people are able to say, oh, I get what you do. Oh, I would love to, engage with you. Oh, like you don't have that offering, which is why you get really confused. So today, what we want to share with you is the power of the one group framework that we've shared and trained thousands of entrepreneurs under our leadership at GSE, where we talk about, having that one flagship offer and to appeal and offer that, product to one audience. I know you feel like your product could serve so many different entrepreneurs. For example, we had this mistake where our accelerator program honestly could serve any entrepreneur at every standpoint of their career as an entrepreneur. But after the third or fourth accelerator program cohort, we realized, like, you know what? We actually best serve this accelerator program, best serves those who are trying to get their idea to market, the initial phase, those younger than 2-year startup companies who need a place to not just get inspiration, but practical guiding steps on how to go out to market. And so we recognized a gap into the market, realized that was something that was very significant, that people need kind of like a launch pad to be able to say, this is the day I'm going to launch my business. This is the method I'm going to do to go out there to the market. So our audience became early stage entrepreneurs, and we specifically focused on early stage entrepreneurs. And when I tell you, once we were able to do that, guess what? Our conversion, this is why you have one conversion process, skyrocketed. Because we were able to use the language and the articulation of messaging specifically for that entrepreneur. So no longer are we saying generically, we are the product for founders and entrepreneurs who need to, build their business. No, now we're saying, like, is this your first time launching a business? Join the Accelerator program. It's very clear and distinct, and people are automatically able to react to our social media posts, our press releases, our articles, our email blasts, because they know that we know their pain points at the start of their business, right? So when you do that, you get more clear, you get more distinct, not only internally, but guess what? Even internally, from an operational execution standpoint, we had one simple process. Target early stage entrepreneurs, provide them the accelerator program every single year, and then, engage with alumni and repeat that cycle over and over. Our entire operational backend, it was much better. So rather than doing a hackathon there, summit here, program here, initiative there, again, we're not saying we didn't do that. But what we're saying is that for 6 months of the year, so the campaign cycle, that was our entire focus, half of the year for 6 months, is marketing the accelerator program, onboarding an accelerator cohort participant, supporting them through the program, letting them exit as alumni, and then restarting the campaign all over again. And the other 6 months, yes, we offer other initiatives like our tech summits and programs, but the majority, 80% of our work was dedicated to that flagship product. That's what you want to do with your business, is that you want to take away all the noise and simplify it to like it was that flagship branded product. And to give you another example, Nike. Everyone knows Nike's motto, just do it. But everyone knows Nike really for their sneakers, right? Not everyone's talking about their headbands. People are not talking about their hats. Again, Nike offers all of it, but a lot of people know Nike for its sneakers. Does that make sense? They got really good at offering one flagship product and being known for something, and then they got their brand into multiple different products. That's what you want to do as well, okay? Now, take a step back. I want to stress that when you put that into practice, I know sometimes people get overwhelmed, and I want to kind of add some clarity on this process before we go, okay? In the startup world, everyone, if you are a tech company or someone who's trying to become tech-enabled with your startup, everyone has come face-to-face with this model over the past decade. It's called the business model canvas. And what I love about the business model canvas is that if you are still ideating, figuring out the viability of your business, this was kind of like the best checklist for you to think of 11 different areas that mattered for your business. 9 different areas that mattered for your business that you need to have a clear understanding for to be able to go to market. So you need to identify what's your value proposition for your business. What customer relationships can you manage? What segments of those customers can you go to? What channels can you get to those customers for people to attract your product? What's the cost structure of your product? What's the revenue streams for you to monetize that product? All of those were specific questions. It was like taking the business plan that was like this 20, 30-page document and whittling it down to a one-page executive conversation about what are the 9 areas of your business, and did you think coherently about these areas to know that you're ready to go to market, to at least pilot or test or launch your product, right? But what we've seen over the years is that internal intrinsic process is not enough, because it puts you in a checklist mentality to think about things and just walk through. But what we've seen in our portfolio, what we've been teaching for years now to our entrepreneurs, is try to look at your business model like an ecosystem, right? And how you create a flywheel where everything is kind of cyclical, where you go back to refine that product, refine that process over and over again until it becomes a well-oiled machine that just works without you. Because essentially what a lot of entrepreneurs forget is that if you are just doing things as a checklist, when you're not around to audit that checklist, the business can't run effectively. But when you have an ecosystem around your product, an ecosystem around your value proposition, what happens is that it starts to kind of build its own momentum over time, and people are able to clearly define what you offer. So in this flywheel that we have here at the center of it, and this is probably the biggest thing, because right now with AI, there's so much content on the internet that there's a lot of noise. If you want to break through the noise, you have to have a clear position statement. This is something that we do with all of our entrepreneurs in our portfolio. We ask them, who do you serve? What do you offer, and why? That's it. And see, there's so much simplicity in that one sentence, but a lot of people struggle to answer that question. Are you following? Right? And so we always tell people, if you cannot describe in one sentence what you do, you are not ready to pitch. You're not ready to put that product to market. You're not ready to really engage. You're just figuring it out. And even if that one purpose statements evolve, which is fine, that will happen as you refine your business and refine your product, you still need to have it. Right? So at the core of this entire process of having one sentence positioning statement, one place where you can say who you serve, what you offer, and why you do it. Then going back to that flagship product, remember the power of one business model. See why it gets really complex when you have multiple products, because you're doing this entire process for every product in your business. Okay. I was listening to a podcast where a guy was talking about, like, for every product that you offer, there's about 8 different lines of business that is affected because of that one product. The sales process, the marketing process, the administration process, the customer management. There's so many different layers that are going to go. So if for every product that you have, if there's 8 protocol processes to experience for each one of that product. If you have 3 products, now you have 24 processes that you're managing in your business. If you have 5 products, you could do the math, right? This is the reason why corporates, as big as they are, they make money, but this is why they move so slowly, because for every product or for every offering, there's multiple things that go into making that product viable for the market, right? And so when you simplify your business model, going back to our previous conversation, when you simplify your business model to have one product, now when you go out to the market and provide a proposal where you package up that product to the market and make a clear distinction as to why that solution serves an audience, the platform you choose become very clear. So for us at GSE, because we serve early stage entrepreneurs, our accelerator program, which is the product, and we propose that as a 4-week virtual program. That's how we package it. Our platform is that we only really market it on LinkedIn, on Facebook. We don't really do too much on Instagram, but places where we know we could build an entrepreneur audience, right? Same thing for you. Those 3 anchors are very important, because you have the product, the proposal, and platform. Your positioning statement helps you to attract the right buyers for that. And what happens is that when you're able to do those 3 things very easily, it's easier to pitch yourself to a media reporter. Remember those 10 stakeholders we talked about yesterday, right? The media reporter, the funding ecosystem, the government ecosystem, the university academic ecosystem. Yesterday, go back on the recording, you will find, let me see if I could just go back to that stakeholder list of people. Yeah, here he is, right? You're able to pitch each one of these stakeholders a lot easier because you have the simplicity of your business model, right? And I talked about, like, entrepreneur leadership starts with you being able to manage these stakeholder relationships in real time as you're building your business, Okay. When I first started my first company, I had to pitch literally for every single company. So, for example, my first company was Vendetti. If I was pitching a VC funder, I was like, hey, my name is Christine Tim. I'm the founder of Vendetti. Over the past 6 months, we've been able to accelerate our business model into these different markets. We're able to, gain about 100,000 followers across our channels. We're able to generate this amount of revenue. We forecast that in the next 5 years, this is where the model is going to be. And we're trying to digitize a $10 billion, $10 trillion economy. Are you interested in hearing more? Right? That was my pitch to VCs and funders and facilitators. But when I'm talking to a media reporter, they don't really care about those numbers that much. My pitch to them is like, hi, my name is Christine and Tim. I'm the founder of Vendetti, and I come from 3 generations of street vendors. And I recognize as a street vendor myself, growing up amongst street vendors, that there are over 2 billion people around the world street vending. And my goal and my mission is to digitize the street vending economy globally through our work at Vendetti.com, right? It's such an inspiring story. It shows my lineage, my tie to the cause, my understanding of the market. It's a story that makes sense, right, for a reporter. Now, if I'm talking to, for example, another entrepreneur, I would tell them my journey. When hi, my name is Christine and Tim. I'm the founder of Vendetti. When I first started Vendetti, it started as a blog, right? It started as, a story that I was doing on social media. It started as, these side trips that I was doing. Every time I traveled the world, I would go to a local street market. It started with my journey. Like, it's a completely different pitch conversation to entrepreneurs. That is where you want to get to when you get to this flywheel, is that you are able to now pitch any stakeholder in your ecosystem because you have a simplicity of a business model that enables you to do that. And what happens is, like, when you're able to simplify your pitch, you're able to build a pipeline where I remember this like crazy when I first started my first company. Every conversation I have today will manifest itself and close out in a week from now, a month from now, a quarter from now, a year from now. I always tell people I'm so patient with my business because I recognize that whatever I don't close today is going to close tomorrow in some shape or form, because I was able to really build a book of business to stay in touch and balance. This is something that we're going to teach you at the AI Ready Sprint workshop, the spreadsheet database to be able to manage your pipeline across all 10 of those stakeholders. Okay. And so with that said, going back to round it up, when you have this flywheel effect, when you create an ecosystem around your brand as an entrepreneur to create a simplified business model, is so much easier to pitch, to build a pipeline, to articulate your message on any platform, to really package your proposal clearly and distinctly for people to understand the purpose and the benefit of using your product or service. And layer that on top as you building your personal brand and managing connection with peoples and programs and publishing your thought leadership and getting publicity on blogs and media outlets and forming partnerships at major global events around the world, you start to be able to accelerate your personal brand and your business brand simultaneously. You create this flywheel effect where you are building what we call momentum. A lot of entrepreneurs do not know how to create momentum. Too many of us in this industry, or just in the world in general, you try to find momentum, right? A lot of people tend to say like, I'm trying to find an opportunity as opposed to create opportunities. This flywheel effect positions you to create your own momentum. You can actually facilitate and create your own momentum. And I've done this several times for not only my entrepreneurial career, I've been able to accomplish so much personally in the past decade, but we've been able to teach this methodology to other entrepreneurs to, again, build traction, build momentum, and build a legacy with their brand and their business. Okay. And so the last thing I will say about this is that when you have an ecosystem driven business model instead of a transactional, business plan structure, you're able to really think about the who, what, when, why of your entire business internally, right? You're able to think of like, who do I want to target to create the right lead generation? What do I want to offer my customers? What is the protocol and the processes? Why are we doing this? What is our vision? What is our mission? What's our origin story? So when you go out to the externally on scaling your company with sustainable core principles, you're able to build your personal brand, network with the right people, publish your thought leadership again, and build partnerships that make sense. It's a two-pronged approach. I see so many entrepreneurs get really head in the weeds and focus only on their business and don't look outside. And I've also seen entrepreneurs who focus too much on externalities and don't focus on the business. It's a balance. It's a marriage of sorts where internally you have this simplified business model working for your business, but you have this external protocol procedure to manage external stakeholders, so that way, again, you accelerate both your business and your personal brand in tandem, so that way you can find long success. Okay. And going back to the stakeholder leadership, these are the stakeholders. When you reach out to them, it makes complete sense. Okay. So with that said, the biggest thing I could tell you today is that before you apply anything, the first thing that we do on entrepreneurs, is what we hope that you take a step back. If you want to go back to the drawing board today, is look at your business right now. How many products are you offering? And some of you think that you're not offering a product, it's just an offering, but an offer is a product, right? What are you offering to the market? List them out, okay? And then figure out which one of those products are giving the most momentum for your business and make that your flagship product. Once you do that, you are able to now implement the Power of One growth framework, where you're gonna now take that one flagship product, think of the one key target audience you want to serve, one core process to be able to manage that experience, right? And then one key conversion mechanism. Now, some of you say, okay, after today, you're going to figure out what your one flagship product, you're going to figure out how you want to pitch it to stakeholders, what's going to be the mechanism to accelerate visibility, okay, for that one product to be able to grow. And that's what we're going to cover tomorrow, how to build trust, to build relationships, credibility, and revenue in the AI economy. That missing piece that some of you are talking about, where you're like, okay, I'll figure out, okay, Christine, at the end of this session, I'm going to figure out my one flagship product. I'm going to layer it out, repackage it, pre-propose it. But how do I create now momentum around that product and create visibility? That's the trust factor. We're going to go over that tomorrow. But it all starts with the Power of One growth framework, where you figure out what is your one flagship product and then create a flywheel ecosystem effect in terms of your business model. No longer look at your business model from a checklist perspective, but think of it like, how do you create an ecosystem around your offering? All right. Now, today we covered a lot in a very short time frame. My message to you is, again, go back to the drawing board, review your notes, review your company, review what we said yesterday, review the replay today, and get ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to blow your mind, because tomorrow we're going to talk about how to actually create visibility at scale. It's something that if you track my social media, you track my brand, like I've been able to build and monetize my personal brand and my business brands through this exact framework. And let me tell you something, it doesn't require any investment. It doesn't require any money. It doesn't require any ads. It doesn't even require any nothing. It just requires you being able to commit to less than an hour a week consistently. If you are able to commit to less than 30 to an hour a week, sometimes as little as 15 minutes a week, you, my friend, are going to enjoy this conversation that we're going to have tomorrow around visibility and scale through the structure of our Trust Event Bridge framework that we're going to share with you tomorrow. With that said, look, building a company in this AI economy, it may seem like it's easier, but to be honest with you, I think it's become harder, right? There's so much noise in the market, so many competitors, so many players, so many, untrustworthy players, that to stand out is not to actually be louder or just spam the world with just content. To actually create visibility now, you got to create simplicity. And that is my message for day 2. If you simplify your business model, you simplify your message. And when you simplify your message, you simplify your value proposition. And when you are simplifying all these different layers, not only do you create clarity for you internally as a business, but you create clarity for your audience, for your constituents. And what happens is, like, at the end of the day, that simplicity creates momentum. We all need momentum in our business, and I can't tell you enough. Every time I had sprint momentum moments in my business, it took my business not only to new heights, but it separated me from my competitors more than a price point. You cannot compete with your competitors at a price point. You need to compete at a strategy. And this is the strategy that we share with you today. So with that, hopefully this was useful to you. I think this was an amazing conversation to really help you move the needle forward. I do want to remind you guys that we are accepting a couple more spots for this Friday AI Ready Sprint workshop, where we're going to implement everything that we're going over this entire accelerator program in real time with templates and structures. And of course, you'll be able to have a coaching opportunity with me for me to hear your business and the details around that. But the goal here is really to ensure that you understand that your business model needs to be simplified. Don't overcomplicate it. All the tools and all the gurus on the internet are going to tell you, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and pile on and pile on, pile on. Step back, streamline it, and you will see the momentum that you're going to build, not only for your business, but for your legacy by taking a step back in order to propel forward. I wish you the very best. Christine and Tim, the CEO of the Global Startup Ecosystem. I'm so amazed to be able to have this conversation with you today to help you build an AI-ready startup in this economy. Look forward to see you tomorrow with day 3. We'll talk about accelerating your trust and visibility. See you soon. Thank you so much.
But this world, as big as it is, one person can be the tipping scale to really create a domino effect that no one ever seen coming. I would like to remind people there's going to be a lot of